Okay, yeah, it's recording. Perfect.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So photos last time we looked through just Mountain Road, right?
Yes.
Okay, so let's just go one by one. Okay. For these, I usually would just open this unless there was like a shit ton of stuff in the shower. I would open it to where, and I'm guessing, I'm just gonna take a guess that the shower head was right here. If it's on the other side, then I mean, I think just generally it looks better if you pull these open because then it looks like you're hiding something if it's closed.
Okay.
And then that can be a little bit weird. But in this case, what I would even have done is I would have opened this, I would have angled the camera to where it cuts off right here, and then I could see more of what's in the shower. Because if the image gets cut off right here, then we can still see all this and we can still see this, but then we see more of the shower because showers are people kind of care about when looking for houses or looking for rentals or whatever. So just a tidbit. I usually I'll only do straight on shots if it's like a nice living room or a nice dining room or like it's a living room and kitchen combination. So I'm in the middle of the living room facing the kitchen. I'll do a straight on shot there. But bathrooms really, I mean, especially for the smaller rooms, you can see a whole lot more when you angle something. So I would do more angles. But that being said, the horizontals, because I remember on Mountain Road, some of the horizontals were a little bit off. This is fine. This one, remember we talked about the corners, so we want to see the two corners. In this case, it doesn't really matter. We can cut off this nightstand from the image. You don't need to see all of it. We can, maybe have the end of the image be right here, and then we'll see more of this side. Also, just going one step beyond, you have Adobe Photoshop, I'm guessing. Generative AI, this kind of stuff out. Go the extra mile a little bit. This little, I'm guessing this is like an air purifier. I generate that out too. It just takes an extra 30 seconds if an image is particularly messy or it's got some stuff in there. I would have even have generated this picture out. It obviously can't do that for video, just for photos. But if you do that kind of stuff, your clients are going to notice and they're going to be super thrilled about it. So, if there's like a phone charger on the nightstand, or there's like a glass of water, or, there's that air conditioning unit, like we care about the space and that stuff is in there and it is your client's responsibility to clean it up. But if it's there, then we can just generate it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, perfect. Structurally, though, this picture's fine. The verticals are really good, but I just getting Thomas to start doing the two corners per shot. In this case, maybe even because, and this is a consideration, when there's a jut out like this, either a closet or a cabinet or drawers or whatever, you have to make a decision on whether or not you're going to be right here, and then you can have this corner visible instead of going for this one. Or if you move the camera slightly forward and then you go for this corner. So it's going to be a toss up between what wall is more important to show the space, and then also what wall is most important, but what obstacles might be in that photo, if that makes sense.
Yes.
And in this case, yeah, that's good. I mean, again, Adobe Generative AI, this kind of stuff, I mean, it's so easy to just, you just draw a little, free form selection tool around it. You could even do the same with the closet. I mean, the generative AI stuff is really good. So I like to go the extra mile just to, it's still good. Like everything else is going to be the same, but just cleans up the mess. And in this case, usually if the closet is not empty, I'll just close it. Like unless it's an extremely large walk-in closet. And this looks like it's a fairly bigger one, but like there's, you've got all these colors and it kind of takes away from the image. And then, yeah, if this little thing wasn't green, then I would have noticed it. But just because it's colored like that, just generate it out. I mean, really, what I do when I get my photos back is I'll plug them back into Lightroom and slap on another preset to do some quality control, double check the verticals, and then check the interiors. Like, obviously, if it's a super messy house, I'm not going to Adobe Generative AI every single image. But I will do, like, if it's, you know, a nice room like this, but there are just a couple things to take out, I'll do that.
Yeah. So with editing photos, I'll have to figure something out, because I submit photos, let's say, the day, and then I receive them in the morning around 7, 8 o'clock. And by that time, I'm already at work. And the photos are to be delivered by 24 hours of the shoot date. So I get home at 7 p.m. So at that point, I can't really edit the photos.
Okay.
And I would have to figure something out how to do that.
Is that something that could be in Thomas's wheelhouse?
Yes, he is available. Yes. Yeah.
Because those are the types of things that are going to set you apart, and like your clients are going to notice. They're going to be super appreciative. They're going to let their, you know, their colleagues know, like, hey, you know, this guy, he buttons them up, makes them look really nice. Even if there's a few things in there, he just cleans them up. I don't even have to ask him. Those are the types of things that will allow you to expand your business kind of more naturally, if that makes sense.
Okay, so it will cost me more, but I think I could get him to just do like a final check of the photos and remove anything that is not necessary.
It should take an extra 20 minutes per shoot max. You know, pop them into Lightroom, double check everything, because also, like, you know, some of these editors don't necessarily do the best job every single time. So you have to be prepared to bring it into Lightroom just in case to fix anything, because the main purpose of working with third-party editors is to do the bulk of the work. But just because you're paying them to edit the images doesn't mean they're 100% finished by the time you get them back, especially if there are specific things that you want to get done, or, you know, a specific look that you like that maybe they don't do. So you have to add another little bump in there. Yeah. Yep.
So,
and again, the corners. So I would have picked this corner to go for.
Okay, so move it, cut off the right side a little bit of the.
You can cut the image like right here. It's totally fine.
And then
again, because like neither one of these images gives me a good idea of where the room ends. You know what I mean? Like, it could just go on and on and on and on, and I would have. I mean, the photo has no way of letting me know that it stops. And they're really like they're really small cues, but they're cues that the brain will subconsciously pick up, so they have to be included in the photos. Kind of rule of thumb: 2 corners will give you an accurate representation of the size of the room. 3 corners will make the room look smaller than it actually is.
Right.
That's fine. Yeah, there's not really any. I mean, for a tiny thing like this, that's totally fine. Again, you know, something like this, Adobe Generative AI it out, because it just kind of takes away from the image. The eyes get immediately drawn to that. That's a really small nitpick, but while you're in there, you might as well. That's fine. Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with that. I wouldn't edit anything out. This is fine. You got the 2 corners right here. You got a good idea of the size of the room. Little nursery. That's fine. Have him not cut off the doorways. So this leads back into the primary bedroom that we were just in. So we want to see where the door ends, because we have no reference. Like, yes, we see the door right here, and we can we can assume that it's just a single door, but it's better just to cut the image off at, like, you know, just past the little door frame right here. But structurally, it's fine. There's no weird verticals things. As far as like cleaning up these little types of things, I'll always do that just in Lightroom, just a little, like the little mask tool. I'll do just the clone stamp and then get rid of those things, because that can also be pretty handy for like sensor dust. I'll just, you know, I'll clean it up. Great. Yeah, no problems. Got the corner right here. Verticals are just a tiny bit off. You can tell by you know, measuring the distance from here to here versus here to here. It's very, very slight.
What you mean now?
Very slight. But once you look for these things, you'll start finding them really easily. What a supremely small dining table for such a supremely large room.
It's 4 people, it shows.
Yeah, it's like a French cafe, but in like a warehouse-sized room. That's funny. That's fine. Yeah, we see the front door here. We see the living room here. We see a little half bathroom right here. We see the dining room right here, and then that it continues on. I think this is either a smoke detector. I think this is a smoke detector, but if it's a light needs to be on. I don't think the light is on in this room. So just, you know, attention to detail, or maybe it's just a funky editing thing. But yeah, structurally, this is fine. This is what we want to go for. Corners. Remember, we want to add another corner. In this case, I would have done this one. I might even have done a straight-on shot in this room, like straight on to this, because then you'll be able to see the fireplace and the TV. It would be cut off a little bit, and then you'd see the windows and drapes on the other side, and you'd see the couch. You'd see a whole lot more rather than having to just take a bunch of corner shots. But I think I would have otherwise taken a photo from here facing this way.
Okay.
Just to show this side of the room too, because then you get to see the nice, like what's outside of the windows a little bit more. Just a nice little thing. Sometimes too, in this case, you could have taken a photo from this little jut out facing this way of the living room too. Not strictly necessary, but it's just something to get brain kind of into. But this is fine. Look, I mean, this is where we want to be. This is just like, you know, you can just barely see the end of the door. That's what we want. Yeah, that's what you're going to get in tiny little bathrooms like that. Maybe, you know, edit out the poopery. But yeah, that's fine. That's what you're going to get. This is fine. Yeah, you got the 2 corners. Can't really do anything other than that. I would have moved the backpack. I would have straightened out the chair. Because you can't really fix that stuff with generative AI.
Right.
Light. These always get missed.
Where's the light?
Yeah, the light's off. It was probably this light switch right here. These are really, like, these I think are the things that get missed most often because it's a separate, like it's a single light switch. But aside from that, this picture's fine. I maybe would have cut off like a little bit more on this side, like have the end of the image be just before this door jamb so we can see a little bit more on what's on the right. But again, real nitpicky things. Yep. Cuts off this door, shows this side.
I can't see your cursor.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm moving around.
How about now?
Sorry, before. Yes.
Okay, there you go. Sorry, I was on the wrong side. This is fine. You can see the end of the doorway. In this case, though, what I'm looking at is this giant fridge. So I think I would have... that he might have been stuck where he might have been taking that photo from right here. Or maybe, I mean, it seems like he might have been right here. So maybe he could have taken it right here. Or in this case, go into the doorway and take a straight on shot. So instead of this photo, it would be a straight on shot of the kitchen. And then he could be right here taking a zoomed in straight on shot this way. You know what I mean? So that the fridge would take up less room. So kitchens where there's a lot of really straight lines with all the cabinets, straight on shots look really, really nice. You know, you can scoot further back, zoom in a little bit more. It gives you a little bit more of lens compression that looks a little bit more professional and, you know, interior design quality status separates out a little bit. That's fine. I still would have moved a little bit more so I wouldn't cut off this doorway and then see less of this plant because, you know, this plant serves no purpose other than a decoration, but we don't really care about it in the photos. So, you know, there's nothing interesting right here. There is some interesting stuff over here. So we want to shift a little bit to the right to maintain that interest and remove the non-interest. Yeah, I mean, again, with the fridge, I mean, it takes up such a large amount of the photos. So in this case, what I would have probably done is moved a little bit more to the left, rotated the camera a little bit more to the right so I could see what is beyond this, which might just be a wall, and then zoomed in a little bit so I couldn't see the fridge at all. I mean, that's why having a zoom lens is like the most fantastic things, because you can purposely omit things that you don't want in your image. And all this is like, these photos are good. I don't want you to get the wrong idea. It's just now it comes the time to start focusing on the things that separate you from someone that's just getting into real estate photography, because then that's when somebody will look at the photos and be like, wow, these are really good, rather than just like setting the camera down and taking the picture. That's good for just getting started, and then like houses that you don't really care about. But if your main goal is to like get referrals and be, you know, a really good service provider, it's just the attention to details. So I don't want you to get the wrong idea. These are fantastic, but we're just going over the things that are going to separate you guys.
Yeah. And it's a nice looking house, so the pictures.
Exactly. Yes. We want to do the, and then, you know, when things like this pop up and you do the images really good, then you add them to the portfolio. This could be X'd out because we have, I mean, we see that same thing right here. We see it right there. We see it right there from another angle. So this is just, you know, kind of a repeat, not super necessary. I would even prefer this shot to this shot, but then maybe taking the photo a little bit more to the right, so it's not this ginormous jut out. Again, a straight on shot from, you know, over here facing this way might have been the way to do it. Yeah, that's fine. 2 corners though. I mean, this is close to the straight on shot that I would have done, but seems like a lot of photo coverage for the same space. Like really, it could have been like this photo, and this photo, and that would have been everything. So then I think you spent maybe an extra $4 in editing that you didn't really need to. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that one. You know what I mean? Straight on shot like here, and then the other 3, that it can all be minimized. Because this shows everything. This shows the coffee maker. This shows this little counter. This shows the little closet right here. It shows the windows, the lights, the dining space, and then it shows the little door right here. So I think all of these other photos, you know, they're like, this one's good, this one's good, but everything else I think is just a unnecessary repeat. That's nice. Yeah, there's no way real else that could do stuff like that. Yeah, that's good. I think I would have angled it just a little bit more left, just so there's a little bit more space on this side, because obviously the house is the focal point. The land is the focal point as well, but more so the house. So it's good that you didn't cut it off, but we would want it to be just a little bit more buffer space. And then also, you know, these types of things, like when there's cars right here, really easy to generative AI out, really, really easy. And then it just, it separates you. That's fine. Horizontals are a little bit off though. His camera was pointed to the left. So just got to make sure your lens is like, if this is your subject, your lens can't be like this or like this. It's got to be like that, or like that. That's fine. Again, these exterior photos, like as far as generative AI, super easy to take out. I mean, it's literally just drawing a circle around it, pressing a button, and it takes care of it. So just take the extra step. Also, a guided transform. Remember we talked about that last time in Lightroom Classic. You hit transform and then guided, and then you draw lines from right here to here, and then here to here, and maybe right here to here, because the whole house is tilted to the right a little bit. So if you do the guided transform, it'll just make it completely up and down. So Okay, so then that's all for that folder. Oops. Was it going to have me go through all of them again? Oh, there we go. Photos. Sample portfolio. Photos, Cannon Ridge. Let's take a look at one more set after these. So these rotate the drone a little bit. You know what I mean? If you're going to take top-down shots, they got to be perfect, perfectly straight. These, I mean, this wouldn't be too hard to fix. You go to transform, or is it the transform tab? I can't remember exactly, but there's a bunch of sliders. This would be the rotate slider, and you can just rotate a little bit. And then if the horizontals are off, you can use the horizontal slider. It's just each photo is going to take a little bit extra just to make sure it's exactly where you want. Because remember, like we talked about, just because you're having someone else edit it for you doesn't mean that they're going to be 100% ready.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine, though. I would have gone a little bit lower, had the bottom edge of the photo be right here so we can see a little bit more of what's up top.
Mm-hmm. So show us the road.
A little bit lower and kind of more tilted up. So you could be further back. You know, if this is the subject, where he is like right here, I would have gone about like right here so that we could see more of the horizon. Still see the house, maybe not so much on the street, but that's nice. That's a nice picture. I like that. Also, depending on what drone he has, I do a lot of panos. So it'll take 9 photos and automatically stitch them together, and it does a really good job of capturing a supremely wide field of view, because it literally, like, the drone takes one photo, one photo, one photo, and then it rotates to the right, one photo, one photo, one photo, rotates to the left, one, 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 9 photos into one, and they look really, really cool. So I do a lot of panos. I do a lot of them. So I recommend most DJI drones, even as old as like the Mavic 2, I think could all do them. Sorry, Can. That's fine, but if this garage is part of it, further back, you know what I mean? Further back, seeing the whole thing. You don't want to cut things off. You know, if this, or no.
That's the condo, the second unit.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fine then. Nitpicking. I would have done a straight down shot here. It would make more sense to be just like straight up above, facing right down, like that. But that's a tennis court. But honestly, I mean, that's a nasty tennis court. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's still fine. Yeah, structurally, that's a good photo. And then interiors wise, yeah, no problems here. We've got what we want to see right here. You know, you can just barely see the edge of the photo right here, so that's great. And it's kind of minimized because we don't want to get a lot of rear of the couch in the way. So this is great. Let's scoot back just a little bit more in this photo. Just seems a little bit like the entire bottom half of the image is just a giant table. So either shoot higher or further back just a little bit, just to not give that weird skewed perspective. It seems supremely empty. In this case, also this light right here got to be on. Attention to detail. I feel like this could have probably just been a straight on shot, because I think he probably took it from this corner, but it just makes the room feel so empty.
Yeah.
So it may be a straight on shot right here. Like, this is the perspective we would want to see, because then maybe you'd see a little bit more on the left side. But whereas this room feels really comfy, warm, inviting, this just makes it feel like blah. So I don't even know if this picture would be necessary, because boom, this photo is so great. You know what I mean? That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's
like a different room.
It looks like a completely different room. So that's where perspective, like forced perspectives, is really, really important. It can really make or break a room. But all these are fine. Straight on shots, though, you want to be above. So it looks like he even dropped the camera down a little bit to take this straight on shot. Be above. And a good rule of thumb is 50-50 ceiling to floor ratio. I think the floor goes to about right here. So there's about 75% floor and about 25% ceiling. So we want that to be 50-50. Add a corner, either this corner or this corner. Remember to just give an accurate space, accurate representation of the space. That's fine. I think though, it's hard because of trash cans. I mean, usually I'll move them. Like, you know, if I'm doing a kitchen and there's a place to hide the trash can, like around this corner, I try not to move things, but like, you know, if just moving one thing makes the images a whole lot better, then it's a good idea to do so. But these are all fine. I don't take these. It doesn't make sense because you can see it with the rest. It's just a wasted, you know, $1 of editing. And then this, not when it's so small, because, you know, half the image is taken up by this giant fridge. Not strictly necessary when we can see everything that we can see it right here. So, you know, we don't need this because we can see it right here. We don't need this because we can see it right here. It's just picking and choosing. We've taken a lot of pictures of the dining room. This one isn't really important. I think just the other side showing where the kitchen is, like this, we see it right here, so we don't need any more of it. Yeah, that's what it has to be. In this case, though, open that shower curtain. Because that serves another purpose, because a lot of people will try and turn the camera around and take another photo of the shower. Whereas if you capture it in the mirror, you're good. Pick a corner. That's the only feedback on that one. Good shot, but yeah, pick a corner, either this one or this one to showcase. Don't cut off the yeah, a lot of these are going to be the same exact feedback, but yeah, open the shower curtain, pick a corner, you know, shift a little bit more to the right to choose that corner. Yeah, that's what you got to do for those. There's nothing there. Pick a corner, either left or right, you know. And I mean, even this, like this gives a whole lot. I mean, this picture looks so much more inviting than that other one where it was a sectional couch that looked like it was 2 feet tall. That's fine. Yeah. I like doing these because it gives it like a nice representation of the layout of the house immediately. I don't know if it, I mean, yeah, but I don't know if it would be necessary. Also, when he took this, like if the rug isn't straight and it like if the layout of the house isn't perfect and it like it just looks a little bit weird, then I wouldn't bother with straight on shots. But if he was going to do a straight on shot, he has to be more in the center of the room, whereas he's a little bit more to the left. Like this is the center of the photo, whereas this should be. That's fine. Yeah, because you want to show that, hey, you know, on the other side is it leads into the kitchen. Don't need it because it was already covered in the other photos. Yep. Looks like verticals are just like, it looks like the camera was tilted just a little bit too far up, maybe, or maybe it's just a weird perspective thing. It just looks like this is rotated back, like it's leaning back just a little bit more. But it can't necessarily, I'm not 100% certain if it is because this looks pretty evenly distanced. So I don't know, maybe it's just a weird perspective thing. Don't need this because we already took the aerial one of that same view. That's nice. I like that. That shows up. Yeah, that's really nice. Less necessary, but still nice. Again, you want to take a whole lot of exteriors just because there's always so much to see and you can minimize your editing costs because I feel like he's taking a lot more interiors than strictly necessary. And then, yeah, take all of these exteriors. Yeah, these are all great. And then as far as the videos go, we already went over the videos.
Yes.
Yeah, we did. Okay. Does that kind of give a clear indication? I mean, I'll send you the recording so that you can share with Thomas. Hi, Thomas.
Timothy.
God damn it! I thought it was Thomas. Timothy.
Close.
Hi, Timothy. I'm sorry. Yeah, to help him kind of get, because it's like 95% there, but it's just the rest of it is going to be focusing more entirely on what the most important parts of an image is.
So showing two corners, opening shower curtains, taking more outside shots.
And maintaining the tripod height and making sure when you do straight on shots, it's actually straight on. So not this way, not this way, not that way. You know, you want to be center straight with the lens facing the wall. As far as that, as far as like networking and marketing goes, what have you been kind of trying to do, outlining to do some client acquisition?
Went to open houses and had maybe 5 on the line, and I realized that one of them that I went to was sell by owner. So from now on, I will be looking
double check
to see if it's not a sell by owner, because they're like they're nice people. We talked, they showed me the house, but realized look for sell by agent, not by owner. And then I went to one open house, and it was a real estate coach from Massachusetts, so it's like an hour drive, and he was coaching 2 other agents selling the house. So I made connections with him. He uses a good company to edit every type of photo, video, and so forth. But I told him that I'm in this area, and I showed him my portfolio, made connections with him, took a selfie, posted the selfie on Instagram, tagged him, he responded, and he was very excited to talk. So
nice.
That was a big +1.
Killer. That's awesome. Yeah, more that you can, I mean, the more you can do like that, the better. So yeah, keep going to open houses. I'd imagine going to brokerages during the week is going to be kind of difficult with your schedule, right?
On Fridays I can go.
Okay. Yeah, I start doing that. See how you like it. See what you learn. I mean, the majority of this is there's no magic. It's just going to be, you got to get out there and do it.
And then I do have questions about open houses. So before I would text them saying, hey, is it okay if we come in? But we changed up the game where we just show up and make connections there. So what's the process of open houses? So I went to the open house, shot out sample photos, and then I went to, what's the next step? Like, how do you, what's afterwards? What do you do?
As far as like the follow-up?
Yeah.
Yeah. So once you get the materials done, you get the client's contact information, then you send those materials to them. Usually. And
do you send that on Dropbox, or do you deliver it through your photo delivery system?
Google Drive, Dropbox is totally fine. You can even just, you know, export them as JPEGs and then text them to them. Yeah, because they're just samples. So, I mean, anything to, because if you think about it, like if you email them a Dropbox link or whatever, and then they have to go through, you know, they have to open it, they have to look at it. Whereas if you just text them the images, they're going to be like, looks great, thanks. And then that's that will plant a seed of convenience in their, you know, in their brain when they think of you as like, oh, we made it so easy last time. So anything that you can do to just like show that you're just a little bit more professional, you're just a little bit easier to work with, it's going to be worth your while. And then as far as follow-ups, it's just every couple weeks, you know, you hit them up again, you be like, hey, you know, remind them who you are, remind them how you met, you know, got any listings that you need assistance with. Where you're going to win the clients is just in your continued efforts of nurturing these leads. So there's no specialty here. It's just, you know, you'll if they're your clients, you're going to have a relationship with them. You're going to know kind of what's going on in their life. You're going to ask how their kids are. You're going to ask them, you know, maybe their son broke their arm. And you're like, how's he healing? That's the type of stuff that you get to anyways on a natural progression when they're your clients. So if you can facilitate that before they're your clients, get to know them, they're going to, like, as soon as they need a photographer, you're going to be the one that they're going to call. So there's no magic. It's just like continue to reach out, and those people will be the ones to reach out. It's just like in my coaching program, if someone's interested and, you know, I email them or I text them or I call them and letting them like, hey, just checking up on you, seeing if you still want to start, whatever. It's just nurturing leads. That's all it is.
Because
prevalent on someone's mind.
I did. I called a bunch of my clients or people that I went to open houses. Some of them were pretty awkward. I felt very like pushy, or like, hi, I wanted to see if you wanted to work, and I wasn't even on my A game, but it felt kind of awkward. I'm like, maybe there's another way of being like, hey, we exist, and do you have?
That's it.
Asking, do you have any listings that we can shoot?
No, yeah. So you don't want to do the purpose of the first contact is just to introduce yourself. So you don't even want to broach the subject of, do you have any listings or whatever. The most important thing is like, hey, I'm Jordan. I run a real estate photography business. I just want to let you know I exist. Can I take a few sample photos just to send you to kind of give you an example of what I can do? And then I'll be in touch every few weeks. And then that breaks the ice so much better. Whereas if you walk in, you're like, hey, looking for work, it's the equivalent of walking into a bar and be like, hey, I'm here, fuck. You know what I mean? Like, it's gonna be weird. Anything that you can do to make it just a little bit more not awkward. Like if you're just, because all the first interactions, whether it's a cold call, walking into a brokerage, you can't expect to get paid work from that first interaction. It's just the icebreaker, and then the first contact to build a relationship, and then you nurture that from time, as time progresses.
Yeah, and then so I was talking about calling them after Timothy and I went to open houses. And I would say, hi, this is Wojtek. Last week, Timothy took photos of the open houses. What would be the follow-up? What would be after?
Like, what would be after that, or what would be?
Yeah. What would I say afterwards?
Hey, this is Wojtek, just checking in on you. Timothy came to the open house, or I came to the open house. I told you I'd call you in a few weeks. Here's that call. Just checking in. Is there, seeing if there's a list. And you always want to be like, you don't want to ask, do you have any listings? Or, do you have work for me? It's like, hey, just checking in, seeing if you might need me. Like, there's a very like playful kind of, a way to, it's like in a spousal situation where you're not gonna go to your wife and gonna be like, did you make dinner? You're going to be like, hey, did you get a chance to like put something together? I'm really hungry, and I know we talked about that. Maybe you would make dinner. Like, there's a much easier way to convey the information in a non-confrontational, non-accusatory way. So the phone calls are literally just going to be like after the second call, it's all going to be individualized based on that person. But it's take the business out of it. Take the business out of it and just focus on connecting with this person, because the whole goal of it is to always stay fresh on their mind, so that when they know they need a real estate photographer, they know who to call, because you'll be fresh on their mind because you follow up with them. And really follow up with them until they either tell you they're flat out not interested or they hire you. And so then, the people that tell you they're flat out not interested, say, okay, and then don't call them again. And then the people that eventually hire you, you won.
And what if those people say, yes, I got your card, and I will call you when there's the next listing available?
You say, great, okay, I look forward to it. I'll check in with you next month. What are they going to do? Like, if they get mad at you for calling them, then you don't call them anymore. And they tell you, I will call you. It's like, no, you won't. So, strike them off your spreadsheet. Most people are going to be fine with being followed up with, because I'm way too busy, and I'm not even a realtor. So when someone doesn't follow up with me, like, you had to email me, you know what I mean? Like, if you didn't email me, I would have forgotten entirely. And that's just the way it is. So you weren't being annoying, and you followed back up with me, and then I was like, yeah, you know what? I got a slot. Let's chat. And then it turned out that you wanted to join. So it's going to be the same thing with other busy people. It's like, in this relationship case, I could have been like, no, not interested. I don't want you. And then that would have been like, okay, that is what it is. And you move on to the next thing. And it'd be the same thing with realtors. If they tell you, I don't want you, then you say, okay, and you move on to the next one. But by and large, people are going to be fine with being followed up with. It's just all going to be about, it's all persistence.
And types of open houses. There's shitty homes, or there's two types of houses. One that have professional photos, one that don't. And you said that go to ones that have photos because they already paid for them.
Yes, they have already established themselves as buyers of our service. You might get lucky every once in a while. Someone's like, you know, all their photographers have bailed on them, and they just had to do them. And they're like, oh my God, I'm so glad you came. I need a professional photographer. That's going to happen 1% of the time. So go with the people who have established themselves as buyers of our service, because they are the ones. And it's kind of this backwards thing where it's like, well, they already have a photographer, so they're not going to want to go with me. It's like, no, you know, who are you going to sell an iPhone to? Someone with an Android or someone who already has an iPhone? No, you're going to sell it to someone who already has an iPhone. It doesn't matter if I have an iPhone 15. I'm going to buy the 16 when it comes out. That's just what it is. So if I have a photographer, I've already established that I have a photographer, I'm going to hire another photographer at some point. It's inevitable. So then our job, if we want to, you know, fulfill the self-fulfilling prophecy of getting more work, it's going to be reaching out to them, nurturing that lead, proving that we're the ones that they want to work with, and that we're going to be the ones on their mind the next time they think about, hey, I might need someone else.
Okay. Understood.
Feeling good?
Yeah.
Lot to think about.
And then I want to talk about photos and the amount of photos. So I looked it up in Connecticut, you can deliver only 40 photos on the MLS. So if I went with unlimited photos and it took 70 photos, then it would have to manually delete 30 and keep 40. Is it still the right thing?
Yeah, it doesn't matter, because here's the thing. The MLS isn't the only place that these properties are going to be marketed on. So maybe they have a specific selection that they put on the MLS, and then they have a different selection that they use for brochures and Facebook posts and Craigslist posts and all that stuff. The value is there. Even if they don't end up using them, if you give them 60 photos to choose from, and this is a highly contended thing. A lot of people get really mad at me for like saying, hey, I take unlimited and just deliver everything. And they'd be like, oh, it's way too much. Who cares? People like options. Obviously too many options. Like if you're taking, like, don't take 4 aerial photos that are like, you know, you take it from this angle and then this angle and then this angle. No, don't do that. Make them all variety, you know, varied enough to where but just because the MLS limit is 40, it doesn't even mean that somebody's going to post all 40. They might only post 20. You know, there's some MLS listings that have 6 photos, and I'm sure that there were more taken. So it doesn't matter, because the main point of it is just to provide value. It doesn't matter what the end result is. It's just, here's all your options. You can choose.
Gotcha. Okay, I feel better about it.
You can do it.
Yeah, now I'm just doing it. I built out the packages based it off your packages, and now it's just about executing. And I have my clients that book mostly 2 services, sometimes 1. And now, how do I incorporate the big packages? And for those who have been booking the small ones, do I just stop working with them, or do I just?
No, I mean, you can still have the same service offerings and the same methods for them to book their smaller ones. I'd start encouraging them. Be like, hey, this is what we offer. Maybe give them a better price or something like that, just to facilitate, hey, you're earning a little bit more money. You're producing all these services. And then, but the main thing is it's just going to be all the new people that you work with.
And then how do I differentiate the packages that are just single ones from the ones that have the whole package?
What do you mean?
Like on the website. On the website, if they go booking right now, I haven't unlocked the packages yet, but once I unlock the packages, I'll have the single services plus the packages. And if someone new comes into them and they see, oh, I can just buy photos, so they're not won't be
You
as
got to have
likely
that.
to
You
buy
got to
the
have this
packages.
separate. Either you take away the option for them to book on your website, and they just have to contact you specifically. That would be the way to do it. Because, but like, you don't want to cater to the people that don't provide good revenue for your business. You want to set up your website and set up your, if you want to do the shopping cart, which, I don't recommend. I just like, picking up the phone and calling them after the inquiry comes in. But yeah, just do it for the normal moving forward. And if they, if they go to book, you can be like, hey, well, let me get you a separate booking link that you can use. It's just my business is moving more towards this side, which I'll eventually want you to kind of push into. So start thinking about it, and on it goes.
Okay, so separate for the clients that I have right now, create a separate booking where they could just book individual, but on the website do the main packages.
If you want to do it the booking way, and you want it, you're married to the booking portal, yes.
Okay.
You know what I recommend is just
yes.
pick up a phone and call. But if you want to continue with that automated portal, then yes, that would be the way to do it. Is the old clients get a special, kind of, here you go.
Okay.
Lots to go. Went over a lot.
Yeah, but it's good. I'll share the first part with Timothy for the shots, and he does a good job, and now he's going to learn to do a better job, so that will level us up. And then the biggest thing is open houses. Go to open houses, call these people. And I did go to a bunch of brokerages, and no luck so far.
Okay.
I don't know, maybe we could talk about that afterwards, what the plan is, but I guess it's the same thing for houses.
Yeah. It's just going to, try it out, fail, try something else out, succeed, try something else out, fail. It's just, iterative improvement. That's the main thing that matters.
Okay.
You got this.
Thanks.
All right, man. I'll talk to you next. All right, man. I will talk to you next week.
Okay. Take care. Thanks.
All right.
And remember to send the recording file.
Recording.
Okay.
I got to figure out where it is because I see that it's recording, but I have to figure out how to export it and shit. I don't know. I'll figure it out. All right, man.
Bye.
Bye.
Mm-hmm.